Hey everyone, welcome to another RF Crypto video. Today's markets are on the green. It's a good day for the crypto market as it's up by almost 6%. It's inching closer to the $1 trillion mark. It's currently at $961 billion. The price of Bitcoin has risen steadily and it's now at almost $22,000. Remember that a few weeks ago, not even a few weeks ago, 1 or 2 weeks ago, we were seeing the price of Bitcoin at 18,500. And now it's all the way up to 21,751. Similarly, Ethereum is up by almost 8%, its price inching closer to the $1,300 level. The whole market is up, Ethereum, XRP is up, Cardano is up, Solana is up, and Dogecoin is up mainly due to the fact that Elon Musk said that the Boring Company will accept Dogecoin payments for its new Las Vegas loop. So the whole market is in the green, basically looking at all the way down to the top 100 coin. Virtually every cryptocurrency is in the green. Looking at the price of Bitcoin, we had seen the price trading below the $20,000 level. Yesterday it made its way up and now it is trading above that. It's almost at the $22,000 resistance level, and if it reaches that, it will make its way up to the $23,000 or at least test it. And the crypto market has rallied very quickly from 20,000 to 22,000 almost, due to the fact that the Fed had its meeting today, and on its minutes, it showed positive signs. Despite the fact that it seems like it's negative, unemployment has increased slightly, which puts less pressure on wages, which means that the tactics that the Federal Reserve are using of increasing interest rates is finally working, because of the fact that if there is less pressure on wages due to higher unemployment, then prices won't increase as quickly, because there's a price wage effect, as where if wages increase, prices have to increase to compensate, whereby again wages have to increase to compensate for the increase in prices, and so on and so forth. However, when unemployment increases, this trend gets broken and prices stabilize. And this is why the markets have rallied, because it is a positive sign. So stocks rise as investors weigh jump in weekly jobless claims. Initial jobless claims edged higher last week in a potential sign the labor market may be cooling amid tighter financial conditions. The expectation was that 230,000 people would be on unemployment insurance. However, actually 235,000 are on unemployment insurance. And because of this, the S&P rallied by almost 2%, Nasdaq by over 2%, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average added 300 points or 1%. And this is a no-brainer because the data is finally moving in the Fed's direction. Of course, it's never a good thing to see layoffs and people becoming unemployed, but the pressure on wages may have now peaked and will start a decline. A few more weeks of these types of numbers and maybe financial conditions are tight enough to allow the Fed to throttle back on the scale of rate increases. So at the moment, the Federal Reserve is trying to control the inflation, which is extremely high at 9% almost, and it does this by increasing interest rates. But at the same time, if it increases interest rates, it has the consequence of decreasing economic activity and decreasing GDP. This is because the higher the interest rate, the higher the price of money, or the higher the borrowing cost. So with an interest rate increase, people tend to borrow less, companies tend to borrow less, and governments tend to borrow less, due to the fact that it becomes more expensive to borrow because interest payments become more expensive. And because of this, consumption decreases, investment decreases, as well as government spending. So with increased unemployment, it means that there isn't such a massive pressure on the prices anymore, due to the fact that the pressure on wages themselves have gone down. And this means that now the Federal Reserve have some more room to tinker with the interest rates. They don't need to increase it as aggressively in order to control inflation, because the increase in unemployment itself will control inflation. And this is good news, because concerns remain that a further ramp up in interest rates to tame inflation may push the economy into recession. So this particular piece of news is very good, because the pressure on inflation was so high that not even increases in interest rates was doing enough to pull it down. And now, with reduced pressure on prices, it means that the Federal Reserve doesn't need to risk pushing the US economy into recession. However, the Atlanta Federal Reserve's GDP Now model estimates that real GDP growth in the second quarter of 2022 is at negative 2.1%, which would technically mean that it is already in a recession. But if this gets reversed and the third quarter is positive, then the markets will react in a positive manner, and they know that this is only a temporary recession or a cyclical recession, and the markets won't drop by much. Obviously, they will drop because any news of recession will cause money to flow out of riskier assets, but it will flow back in once the markets or the economy becomes positive. So it's never good to have unemployment increase. When you hear people being laid off, it's never good. But in terms of the bigger picture, it is a positive sign such that we can control inflation without having to tinker with the interest rates too much, which would eventually cause a recession in the economy, which would cause a lot more pain than we are facing now. So as I said before, we are facing short-term pain of high inflation and now with increased unemployment in order to prevent long-term and even more drastic pain. So it's a small sacrifice to make for the good of the whole world, actually, because the American economy dictates the pace of the entire world's economy. So 3 of JP Morgan's executives leave for crypto jobs. Former JP Morgan executives Eric Rage, Pooja Samuel, and Samir Shah have all left the company. So Samuel acted as head of ideation and digital innovation at JP Morgan, and he has left JP Morgan in order to join Digital Currency Group as head of corporate development. And as you know, Digital Currency Group is one of the biggest crypto investment companies in the world. Also, Eric Rage, a former managing director at JP Morgan, joined Web3 World via the Algorand Foundation. Here, Rage will chair the foundation's investment committee and lead global initiatives and strategic partnerships in both traditional capital markets and DeFi. Finally, former JP Morgan banker Samir Shah announced on Monday that he had left the investment bank to become chief operating officer at Web3 investment firm Pantera Capital. So amid a lot of layoffs and amid a lot of trouble in the crypto market and the downturn in the market itself, people haven't lost hope. And if we see these major executives in top investment companies like JP Morgan leaving their jobs to go to crypto companies, it means that, the future is crypto, and that's where the money will be. And in the future, crypto will be a force to be reckoned with, because people working at JP Morgan wouldn't just leave such a prestigious and fantastic company anyhow. It would only be for something that they believe in. And these 3 individuals have left the company for crypto, which indicates that it has a bright future. Finally, speaking a little bit about Elon Musk, his Boring Company will accept Dogecoin for Las Vegas Loop. So the Boring Company opened a transit station in Las Vegas on Friday and announced Dogecoin as a new payment method for using the Vegas Loop system. And we all know that Elon Musk is a very, very big fan of Dogecoin, and recently he has stated that he would be supporting Doge wherever possible. And because of this statement and because of this announcement that Boring Company will accept Dogecoin as payment for the Vegas Loop system, Dogecoin's price went up by almost 5%. And this Vegas Loop consists of 1.7 miles of tunnels and was built in just 1 year. The tunnel system reduces a cross-campus journey that typically takes 45 minutes of walking to around 2 minutes, and a cost of around 47 million to build. Obviously, this is the initial stages of such loops and such new technological transportation systems. However, with time, I believe that this cost will come down, and things like these loops will be common around big cities where there's a lot of traffic and a lot of time that needs to be traveled, especially in metropolitan areas. And while rides using the loop are currently free, riders will eventually be able to scan a QR code at the new resort station and purchase tickets using Dogecoin or a traditional credit card, which indicates that support for Dogecoin is still there, and Elon Musk hasn't given up on Dogecoin. And with that, we come to the end of today's video. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, hit the subscribe button, and share this video with your family and friends. Invest wisely, and cheers.